Ruckus, weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 4.
From WNBC-TV, this is News 4 New York at 11 with Ralph Penza, Carol Jenkins, Ira Joe Fisher with the weather, and Sal Marciano with the latest sports.
Good evening. Memorials tonight for two brave men killed in the line of duty.
Firefighter Kevin Kane, police officer Hector Fontanez, two dedicated New Yorkers with very dangerous jobs. And they lost their lives serving this city. Tonight, their co-workers, their friends and family join together to mourn their loss. Roger Stern has more.
Police officer Hector Fontanez and firefighter Kevin Kane, both linked by a tragic fate to suffer mortal injuries on the same day. Friends and colleagues are mourning both this weekend. Kane on Long Island, where firefighters filed in to pay respects. Fontanez in the Bronx, where fellow officers shared a tear.
Guys in the precinct, everybody's down and sad, but we'll pick ourselves up and we'll get rolling. And you know, Hector's always going to live in our hearts with us. So you know, we'll just make every moment count from this point on.
Fontanez died Thursday in a gunfight chasing a Bronx teenager suspected of having a gun. Kane, the end came as the roof of a burning building collapsed on him as he searched for trapped victims. Police blame the fire on a woman living in the abandoned building. For both men, different circumstances, but a common sad end.
Mrs. Kane called the mother of the policeman, Mrs. Gonzalez, to comfort her, which is pretty remarkable. And I understand for a few moments they shared their grief and strengthened each other.
The wakes continue through the weekend. Then on Monday, New Yorkers have the sad task of burying two men for whom public service was the final sacrifice. Roger Stern, News 4, Castle Hill.
Officer Fontanez was 26 years old. Firefighter Kane was 31.
Oh, she fought valiantly for her life, but tonight a teenage girl hit by a stray bullet is dead. 16-year-old Karen Edwards died late today at Jacoby Hospital in the Bronx. 11 days ago, Edwards was hit in the chest by a bullet as she leaned out of the window of her apartment in the Woodlawn section. Police have no suspects.
A teenage panhandler. He has pleaded guilty to murder in the stabbing death of a Bronx high school student who refused to give him $1. It happened a year ago. Hugh Harley was playing with a remote-controlled car near his Perry Avenue home when then 15-year-old Edgar Lugo asked him for $1. When Harley refused, Lugo admits that he stabbed the 16-year-old in the chest. The Bronx DA says Lugo also pleaded guilty to attempted robbery, to criminal possession of a weapon. As a juvenile now, Lugo faces a possible maximum sentence of 7 years to life in prison.
A New York couple are behind bars tonight. Police say Eliezer and Maria Marrero kept their teenage daughter literally under lock and key, chained by the ankle in their Bronx apartment. The couple say they did it to keep the 15-year-old girl off the streets. Julian Phillips has this report.
I don't think they were doing the right. They were not doing the right job. To my knowledge, I don't think they were doing the right job.
An emotionally drained Carmen Rodriguez says her sister and brother-in-law reached out in desperation to city agencies to help their 15-year-old daughter Evie, an effort to save her from a life on these streets in the hybrid section of the Bronx that are sometimes not too kind. But instead, Eliezer and Maria Marrero were arrested for child abuse, charged with using these chains to keep Evie inside their apartment.
My sister was trying to be a little bit more overprotective with her daughter.
Why did the mother and father chain her at least at any point in time? Why did they do this to her?
Because she was kind of wild, you know. Once she would walk out the door and she would start acting crazy in the street. She would disappear for days, sometimes for months.
The modest apartment was clean, a refrigerator fully stocked with food. Not a place Rodriguez says a child could be abused. But last month, when Evie's life was threatened by people she owed money, family members said the chains were the last resort after nobody else would help. Marrero, the superintendent of his building, was described as a hard-working man.
To me, he's very nice. Very hard-working man, very decent man. Him and I used to go out. We shoot pool. We play a little cards. We have a couple of tools and stuff together. We should get a medal for protecting their own kids, for prolonging her life.
Well, no matter how you look at it, this story is a tragedy. Relatives say city bureaucracy failed them, and the parents were doing all they could just to save this child's life. Now both parents are arrested, and little Evie is in the hands of the Bureau of Child Welfare somewhere in the system. In the Bronx, Julian Phillips, News 4, New York.
And relatives say neighbors who have been fighting with the Marreros turned them into police.
Carol, we have more controversy tonight in the racially divided community of Crown Heights. Black activists representing the family of the black child killed in the car accident have gotten a court order to have the Hasidic driver testify for a pre-trial hearing in a civil suit.
We have reservations on El Al Airlines and intend to go to Tel Aviv, Israel, and personally serve Mr. Lutz.
The driver, 22-year-old Yosef Lissep, went to Israel immediately after he testified before a grand jury. That panel cleared Lissep in last month's accident that killed 7-year-old Gavin Cato, injured his cousin Angela. And tonight, Sharpton and the media are both drawing fire from civil rights leaders.
I think for some reason the press, the media are interested in colorful characters. And certainly Reverend Sharpton is a colorful character. I don't see why they take him seriously. I really don't, particularly after the Tawana Brawley affair. But they continue to give credence and credibility to the Tawana Brawley bunch.
Police, meanwhile, are still searching for the mob that allegedly killed a Hasidic student in retaliation for the death of Gavin Cato. So far, only one suspect has actually been arrested. The full interview with Michael Myers, by the way, can be seen on News Forum at 11:30 tomorrow morning. Or this morning, I guess.
This morning, exactly. Still ahead, rumblings of a possible breakthrough on the Lebanese hostage crisis. And a man takes a hammer to Michelangelo's famous David.
Plus, there's a new Miss America this morning. And Ira will answer the question, won't you? What is tomorrow like for her?
Yes, I will. We'll talk about a whole bunch of days ahead, Ralph. Some of them have clouds. Some of them don't. We'll sort out which is which later on News 4 New York. Stay tuned.
Tonight, News 4 New York at 11 is sponsored by Chemical Bank and by Isuzu.
There is evidence from the Middle East tonight that the release of a British hostage may be near, and you hope that the release of 5 American hostages may not be much longer. NBC's Tom Aspel reports.
Sheikh Ahmed Talib, a senior member of Hezbollah, the group believed to be behind the kidnappings, said today a British hostage will be released very soon to keep the momentum going. It could be Jackie Mann, the 77-year-old Briton whose photograph was attached to one of the kidnap group's statements issued Wednesday. Mann's wife, Sunny, is in Beirut waiting.
I have no special information. I just feel this time that he will be released.
U.S. officials feel freedom for 5 American hostages is near too. John Kelly, an Undersecretary for Middle East Affairs, was in Lebanon today for talks which no doubt included the fate of the hostages.
We support the efforts of the United Nations Secretary General, and we hope for more progress.
Secretary General Javier Perez de Cuellar is in Saudi Arabia after talks in Tehran, receiving praise for brokering an agreement between all sides aimed at freeing the foreign hostages in Lebanon, Arab prisoners in Israeli jails, and engineering the return of the remains of those who've died in captivity. Here in Damascus tonight, Foreign Minister Farouk al-Shara seems to think the end could really be near.
Well, we are in Syria optimistic because the process of releasing the hostages has already started.
In all, 11 Westerners are being held captive in the Mideast.
For the second day in a row, a UN peacekeeper in southern Lebanon has been killed in a gun battle with Palestinian guerrillas. A Nepalese soldier was killed when his patrol exchanged fire with guerrillas inside a UN patrolled area. Another soldier was killed yesterday after being taken hostage by Palestinians fleeing an Israeli gunboat.
To other developments now, black and white South African leaders signed a peace pact this Saturday, even as bloodshed among black political factions in Johannesburg townships claimed 15 more lives. It is the first such accord between the government and the 2 main black movements, the African National Congress, led by Nelson Mandela, and the Inkatha Freedom Party. Nelson Mandela signed the pact, but doubted that it would help end the violence.
We are under no illusions that this accord is a magic wand. Our signatures alone cannot light the path to peace.
Honors will go to those who, as from this day, ensured that this accord becomes reality.
Now, this peace pact sets new restrictions on the police, and it calls for reconstruction of communities hit by the violence.
Well, Michelangelo's priceless statue of David is missing part of one of its toes tonight. A disturbed man attacked the 13-foot marble statue with a hammer today while horrified tourists watched. Police say the assailant was 47-year-old Piero Cannata, a jobless resident of Florence. Cannata said he was told to do it by a woman in a 16th century painting. Museum officials say the David can be repaired. All of the pieces broken off have been retrieved and will be replaced.
Back home again, it may not be the biggest oil spill in history, but it is one of the least expected. The Parks Department says that 200 to 300 gallons of diesel oil leaked from a storage tank and seeped into the Central Park Lake, and that happened on Wednesday. Workers have been trying to soak up the oil, which is on the western part of that famed body of water. Rental rowboats are restricted to the eastern half of the lake for this week. And we're told about 20% of the oil should evaporate. The rest should be absorbed by paths.
Well, still ahead, Jackie Mason has the final word. Ira Joe has the forecast.
And Sal's up next with the sports, including Saturday's marathon chapter in the National League West Pennant race. We have much more for you. Stay tuned. They're going wild down in Atlanta, and here's Sal to tell us why.
All about the Mets, right?
That's what the Mets. Carol will let you know a little secret. The Mets are through.
It's not over until it's over.
The Dodgers and Braves are spending the weekend trading first place, and it's the best baseball has to offer this forgettable September. Dodgers on top in a hurry. John Smoltz put 2 on in the first before Cal Daniels tripled over center fielder Ron Gant. Brett Butler and Eddie Murray came home for a 2-0 lead. The Braves scored on a bases-loaded walk-off Tim Belcher before Dave just a single in the 5th to score Jeff Treadway for a 2-2 tie. They went to extra innings. TP full of fans in Atlanta. 2 outs, bottom of the 11th. Roger McDowell loaded the bases, and Ron Gant with a wallop to left field. No grand slam, but as the ball bounced off the wall, the Braves won 3-2. Joy in Atlanta. The Braves replaced the Dodgers in first place by a half game. The Mets' 4-game winning streak ended in St. Louis as David Cohn pitched a 1-hitter over 7 innings and lost. Scoreless in the 3rd, Darryl Boston singled up Omar Olivares. Jeff Gardner tried to score from second base. Cardinals left fielder Milt Thompson with the throw to the plate, and Gardner was nailed. Cohn walked 2 batters in the 5th. Wild pitched him to second and 3rd. Here's the only hit off of him. 2-out single by Ray Lankford. Milt Thompson and Geronimo Pena skipped home. 2-0 St. Louis. In the 9th, Mets behind 2-1, 2 outs. Todd Hundley with a single. Greg Jeffries tried to score from second to tie the game. Lankford with the throw to the catcher, Rich Gedman, and Jeffries motoring was thrown out at the plate. Mets lost 2-1. Cohn's 3rd straight defeat. He's dropped 8 of his last 11, dropping to 12 and 13. The Yankees put the brakes to their 8-game losing streak, and the Red Sox were very charitable on one play. Second inning, Joe Heskett's pickoff throw wild past first base. Hensley Mulin's running. Mo Vaughn's throw sailed into left field, and as Mullen steamed to third, Mike Greenwell misplayed the ball, and Mullins raced home. 3 errors equaled 1 run. 3-1 Yanks, 2 outs in the 9th, 2 on, but Tony Pena looked at the call strike 3. Steve Farr saved it for Scott Sanderson, who was 15-9, 5-0 lifetime against Boston. In Milwaukee tonight, Dan Plesac to Cecil Fielder, and you can kiss that baby goodbye. His 41st, most in the majors. The first ball hit fair out of County Stadium, estimated at 520 feet. That long ball had a crew of 4 and 3 cocktails. The Tigers won 6-4. They remained 5.5 behind Toronto. P.S. The Red Sox fell 4.5 behind first-place Blue Jays, who blanked the Athletics 6-0. Tom Candiotti and 3 others combined in a 5-hitter. College football. 3rd-ranked Michigan beat number 5 Notre Dame 24-14 after losing 4 straight to the Fighting Irish. All heartbreakers, and you better believe they're partying tonight in Ann Arbor. Early 2nd quarter, Desmond Howard working the reverse, a 29-yard touchdown. Wolverines ahead 10-0. In the 4th quarter, 4th and inches for the Wolverines. Elvis Gerback from the 25. Desmond Howard, a diving catch in the end zone, a seal, a 24-14 victory. Michigan is 2-0. Howard has scored 6 touchdowns. Notre Dame is 1 up and 1 down. 5th-ranked Penn State at Southern Cal. Trojans quarterback Reggie Perry scored on the keeper. SC knocked off the Nittany Lions 21-10. Let's check out those scores. Duke took Rutgers. Georgia Tech over Boston College. Pittsburgh ripped Temple. Elsewhere, Army hammered Colgate. Lehigh beat my alma mater. And Syracuse 31, Maryland 17. Canada Cup hockey, Canada versus the United States in the opener of a best-of-3 final series. International rules, fighting means immediate ejection, so there was a lot of pushing and shoving, no knuckling. Wayne Gretzky, skating for Canada, took a shot from behind by Gary Suter. Gretzky kissed the boards, had to leave with back spasms. The NHL's most important personality is usually untouchable. Canada's Eric Desjardins opened the scoring with a backhander past Rangers goalie Mike Richter in the first period. And then with less than 10 minutes left in the game, Mark Messier with a shot through Richter's pads. Canada won 4-1, take the opener of the best of three. In Las Vegas, Julio Chavez has successfully defended his WBC super lightweight title, unanimous 12-round decision over Lonnie Smith. Chavez is 76-0. That's sport.
Okay.
Great.
Sal.
Thank you.
Join us again tomorrow at 6.
No, 11.
11? Okay.
We have football tomorrow at 6.
Oh,
Thanks for
okay.
reminding us.
That's right. We appreciate that. We sleep later. Straight ahead, Ira Joe's weather predictions for the rest of the weekend and the start of the week.
And the new Miss America has been crowned, as you probably know. Stay tuned. We'll give you a closer look.
You know that comedian Jackie Mason always goes for the laughs, and now you can have his humor around the clock. It's called Jackie Mason's Final Word, a little gadget that, as the ads claim, held him off in the kind of language everyone understands. Mason hawked the product, giving autographs at a Soho store there. Some of the other pointed barbs on the final word, well, we can't repeat them. You'll have to hear them for yourself if you're interested. Mason says the final word gives relief that you can't get from homemade chicken soup. Well, I'm not so sure of that.
An X-rated toy, right?
Well, apparently in some sections of it. Got an X-rated weather forecast for us?
No, but we could use one of those little doomaflages perhaps in response to the weather, although we really do need the rain. He said cheerfully. Okay, our high temperature today, as we jump right into it, was 74. The low was 65, and compare that with the record favorably or unfavorably compared. 93 in 1931, 46 in 1975. Oh, okay. Satellite picture will show us, I hope, that we have a warm front and a big mass of clouds that, suffice it to say, is moving into our area. In fact, it has already arrived, and it's cloudy over Central Park and probably where you are right now. 65 in the park, 90% humidity, a falling barometer. Some of the rain is falling in places tonight. We'll see the clouds gather. Fog will form in patches, and by morning we'll have some sprinkles. Southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's the significant direction. The eastern wind bringing moisture in off the ocean. Oh, how rude. Southeast wind will persist in the morning, and the temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. It'll be drizzly, it'll be foggy, and then the day will stay pretty much cloudy with a good chance of showers and thunder showers. The southeast wind will do a switch and go to the south, or be from the south, at a brisk 10 to 15 miles an hour. And your 5-day forecast calls for mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, high 77. Variable clouds on Monday, the high 84. Tuesday, showers and thunderstorms, very likely 83 the high. Only the upper 70s on Wednesday with a chance of showers and thunder showers. And look at Thursday. It'll autumnally clear and cool, a high of only 70. Might have some sunshine peeking through. And again, we might not. You'll just have to stay tuned.
Yeah, Ira, I met some folks upset with you because the book fair is on Fifth Avenue tomorrow.
I know,
you
and I was looking forward to it,
said
too.
Ira rained us out.
No, Ira didn't.
All your fault.
Nothing can rain on the parade of one young lady today, though. There's a brand new Miss America tonight, crowned just minutes ago in Atlantic City. And just in case you were not one of the 50 million viewers who watched it on NBC, here's the crowning of Carolyn Suzanne Sept, Miss Hawaii.
There she is, Miss America. There she is, your ideal.
The 24-year-old winner is the first contestant from Hawaii to become Miss America. She studied piano for 12 years, but impressed the judges tonight with her singing of Fats Waller's Ain't Misbehavin'. Miss Sept stands 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighs 128 pounds.